We're here at Here Today Brewing Kitchen to brew Clean Water for Great Beer, which is a hazy IPA and probably the largest collaboration in Washington State history. We have 73 breweries, bottle shops, hop producers, maltsters from across the state of Washington coming together to brew two beers, one at Here Today and then one at Lumberbeard in Spokane.
At BottleWorks, collaborations are such an important part of what we do here that when we did go ask our friends at other breweries and establishments to participate in this specific collaboration, there was no question about it. Everyone knew the assignment and everyone understood the importance of protecting our resources.
We're brewing the exact same recipe. All the grains the same, all the hops are the same. The only thing that's a little bit different is we use different yeast strains. We'll be brewing it in our facility and they're brewing it here.
What it'll wind up being is a delicious, juicy, tropical, hazy IPA that you'll be able to get in cans and draft all over the state.
The community of brewers is extremely important for all of us. We learn from each other. We are very interconnected as an industry.
As a brewing community, we recognize that in order to continue making good beer, it's incumbent upon us to make sure the raw materials are as good as we can get.
We are lucky in Seattle and the surrounding area that we have amazing water coming right off the tap. But even still, that's a resource that is very delicate and can easily be ruined by one small act or people not taking care of the environment around us.
The environment is very important to us, and especially our natural environment, because that's where we get the water, where our grain is grown. All the things that we need are available to us, and if we don't take care of it, I'm kind of worried that we won't have it when we need it.
Sourcing quality water from clean watersheds is super important to us. We don't have a way to filter out a ton of anything that's in the water. If anything happens to our water supply, it'll significantly impact our beer.
Breweries are a clean water stakeholder. Without clean water, we're not getting the awesome beer that is, I would say, emblematic of the Pacific Northwest.
How can you make good beer with bad water? Generally speaking, beer is 94-95% water. It's totally absurd to think that you should not consider the quality of the water for your finished product there. So we start with possibly about the most pristine water quality I've ever come across.
We work from peak to pint in order to protect the watershed. Watersheds are so important to our human existence and all life's existence. Wherever you are standing, you are in a watershed. A raindrop hits where you're standing, it flows downhill. It will eventually flow into a river or into a body of water and into the ocean. It's so important that we realize everything that we do has an impact. Protecting these parts of the watershed is highly important for the health of our watershed, for the species that rely upon it, for us as humans, we're included in that. Whenever we're able to tie that message of, hey, this beer was not only sourced from farmers looking out for watershed health from a hops and grain perspective, but also tying that into what Washington Wild is doing from protecting these areas for our future generations, really important.
A few years ago, Washington Wild led a coalition to oppose mining in the headwaters of the Skagit River. A mine could have been catastrophic for the clean water that communities, agriculture, and the natural world depend on. As part of this campaign, we put together a stakeholder letter that included 13 breweries and maltsters in the Skagit Valley that we sent to the British Columbia government saying, hey, as downstream stakeholders that use clean water from the Skagit River, we don't want a mine that could pollute our river.
The Skagit River is the source of life for the beer. It's the water, and we do need good water. We need good ingredients, and the water is actually a very large part of our product.
Part of that campaign, we worked with Fair Isle Brewing Company here in Seattle to brew Imperial Saison, which is a Belgian farmhouse style of beer that would showcase what would be lost if that river was polluted. We used grain grown in the Fraser Valley in Canada, which is where the headwaters are located, and grain grown in the Skagit Valley. We used Bow Hill blueberries grown in the Skagit Valley, and then we actually foraged for fir tips in Mount Vernon near the river.
We source ingredients as locally as we do because we really want to create products that have a unique sense of place. And there aren't a lot of places in the world where you could source everything that we're able to source here as locally as we do. We chose Skagit Valley specifically for that reason. What we're striving to create here is something that will outlast us and continue to contribute to the community and be part of this wonderful agricultural landscape in Skagit Valley.
In January 2022, we got word that thanks to the efforts of this beer, along with the many years of the broad-based coalition on both sides of the border, we found out that the BC government was denying the mining permit and buying back the mineral rights from the mining company, which set in motion them working with the tribes to figure out the best way to protect the headwaters for forever.
While the voices behind beer are powerful, there are times where we don't feel heard. So working with Washington Wild and the Brewshed Alliance gives us the opportunity to feel heard. It gives us the opportunity to amplify our voices on a bigger platform, to work together to protect our natural resources. And without these resources, we know that we cannot make quality product. And without quality product, we are all out of business.
We all really do care about having sources that are kept clean and kept protected so that we can continue brewing good beer. And I think it's important for all of us to come together and show a united front.
We're fortunate right now that we have outstanding local water, but we need to really be vigilant in ensuring that we can keep it that way.
You just have to ask yourself one question. Do you want to keep making good beer? If you don't have good water, you won't be able to answer that question yes.